Hey everyone, and welcome. We're taking a deep dive today into something I bet you've never really thought much about.
Oh, really? What's that?
Boats.
Oats.
Yeah, boats. I mean, they're everywhere, right? Like they've always just been there.
I guess I've never thought about it like that.
But have you ever stopped to think about where boats actually came from?
Now that you mention it, not really.
Well, get ready to have your mind blown because what we've found digging through museums, archives, and even some really passionate boating blogs is
What is it?
it's seriously mind-blowing.
Tell me.
We're talking about boats older than written history itself.
Whoa! Older than written history. That's incredible. How do we even know about them then?
I know, right? It's crazy. But to really get into it, we need to go back to the very beginning.
Okay, let's go back.
And it's not an easy story to tell because the truth is,
Right.
well, the truth is we can't say exactly when the first boat was built
Why not?
because it most likely predates our ability to actually record things like that.
Oh, so it's kind of lost to time.
It's kind of poetic when you think about it.
How so?
Well, picture this. Early humans drawn to the water, figuring out how to move across it.
I can see it, right?
Long before they even thought about writing things down. There's even a theory that Homo erectus might have been building basic rafts,
Really?
like way back 800,000 years ago.
Wow. So boats could be even older than we thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to get a little more concrete, the oldest actual boat we found is called the Pessie canoe.
The Pessie canoe.
Yeah, it was unearthed in the Netherlands. This thing's pretty small, only about 3 feet long.
Wow. That's tiny.
But it's a dugout made from a Scots pine tree. And get this,
What?
it dates back to somewhere between 8,200 and 7,600 BC.
So someone was paddling around in that canoe over 10,000 years ago. That's mind-blowing.
I know, right? And it wasn't just in the Netherlands. We also found rock carvings in Azerbaijan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these carvings go back even further to around 10,000 BC.
That's even older than the canoe.
Exactly. And these carvings show what looks like a reed boat. Yeah, and it looks like it was carrying a whole group of people.
It seems like boats were more than just a quick idea back then. They were already well established.
It's incredible, right? Way before the pyramids, humans were already pretty good at this whole boating thing.
I guess it makes sense.
Why do you say that?
Well, they had to use what they had, right? They weren't exactly going to the store to buy supplies.
Exactly. Logs, reeds, animal skins, anything that floated and could be lashed together was fair game.
True, true. Talk about resourcefulness.
Right. And it wasn't just about moving across water.
It wasn't.
These early boats were also used for fishing, trading with other groups,
Oh, that makes sense.
and probably even helped folks explore new territories.
So they were fundamental to survival.
Absolutely. You know, when I think about ancient boats, I always think of the Egyptians
The Egyptians,
with their papyrus reed boats cruising down the Nile.
those iconic images.
I know, right? Those pictures are burned into our mind.
It's like their whole society was built around the river.
And you're right, the Nile was their lifeblood.
Exactly. And the Egyptians really took boating to a whole new level. They were masters at building with those papyrus reeds,
Those skills.
creating boats of all sizes, transporting goods, people, even those massive obelisks.
Wait, obelisks. They put those on boats.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget about those solar boats.
Solar boats. What are those?
Well, the pharaohs actually believed they needed boats in the afterlife
For what?
to journey across the sky with the sun god Ra.
Hold on, are you serious?
Totally serious. They were literally burying boats with their pharaohs.
So not just any boats.
No, we're not talking about tiny toy boats here.
So what kind of boats?
Let me tell you about the Khufu solar boat.
Okay, tell me.
So this boat was buried alongside the pharaoh Khufu at the Great Pyramid of Giza.
No way.
And it's an incredible 144 feet long.
Seriously. 144 feet. Talk about showing off.
But wait, it gets even more impressive.
Really, how?
This entire boat was built completely without nails.
Are you kidding me?
I'm totally serious. The craftsmanship is mind-boggling.
It's incredible. They built practical boats for everyday life. But then they created these elaborate vessels for symbolic purposes.
It really shows how central boats were to their culture.
Right. And it wasn't just the Egyptians.
It wasn't.
The Mesopotamians, another powerful civilization, also relied heavily on boats.
That's right. They used boats on the Tigris and Euphrates rivers.
Exactly. They built these fascinating boats called goofas.
Goofos.
Yeah, essentially bundles of reeds, perfect for navigating those shallow waters.
So whether it was reeds in Egypt or reeds in Mesopotamia, these civilizations understood the power of rivers.
And how boats could help them thrive.
They were the highways of the ancient world, connecting communities, creating trade routes, and moving people and goods.
Essential for their development.
Absolutely. Boats weren't just convenient, they were vital.
So far, we've been close to shore, in rivers and lakes.
Yeah,
But now I want to set sail for the open ocean.
the open ocean. Okay,
Because when you're talking about early seafaring, you can't forget about the Phoenicians.
the Phoenicians.
These guys were like the rock stars of the ancient maritime world, starting way back around 1200 to 900 BC.
They were seafaring experts.
Their galleys were legendary.
Galleys, those ships with all the oars?
Yeah, powered by rows of oarsmen, and these galleys were the workhorses of their trade empire,
So they carried goods across vast distances.
connecting the Mediterranean world in a way that had never been done before.
I can picture those galleys now, cutting through the waves.
I know, right? Oars churning in unison,
Must have been an amazing sight.
but it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Right, there must have been dangers.
Oh, definitely. Storms, pirates, navigating by the stars.
That's scary.
These guys were seriously brave.
And incredibly skilled.
Oh, absolutely. Think about this. The Phoenicians sailed all the way to Cornwall.
Cornwall. Where's that?
It's in Britain. They went there in search of Pin.
They sailed all the way to Britain.
Wow. Yeah, this wasn't just a casual trip either. They were navigating by the stars using their knowledge of winds and currents.
To reach a destination hundreds of miles away.
Exactly. Talk about adventurous.
It's hard to imagine setting out on a journey like that with such limited technology.
I know. They were really pushing the boundaries.
So it wasn't just the Phoenicians who were doing this.
You're right. There were other incredible seafaring cultures out there.
Like who?
Well, like the Polynesians,
The Polynesians, right. They were incredible navigators.
using their iconic double-hulled canoes to explore the vast Pacific.
Those canoes are incredible.
I know, right? Those double-hulled canoes, called wa, were amazingly stable and seaworthy.
They could carry large groups of people and supplies over those vast distances.
They were really a marvel of engineering, a totally different approach to boat building.
And they were incredibly effective.
Exactly. Then you've got the ancient Greeks,
The Greeks, yes. Known for their powerful warships.
the triremes,
Triremes, those ships with 3 rows of oars.
the cutting-edge warship of their time, capable of incredible speed and maneuverability.
It's fascinating how these advancements in boat design were connecting the world in ways never seen before.
Trade, exploration, the spread of ideas.
It was all happening because of these vessels.
Yeah, these advancements really paved the way for a more interconnected world, driving cultural exchange, economic growth, and the sharing of knowledge across huge distances.
The impact of these early seafarers is still felt today.
From humble beginnings with dugout canoes and reed boats to powerful instruments of exploration, trade, and even warfare.
Boats have come a long way in a few thousand years.
It's really amazing how far they'd come. But you know what?
What?
We're just getting started.
Really?
There are so many more twists and turns in this journey through the history of boats.
Oh, I can't wait to hear more.
Let's dive back in and explore some of the key innovations that shaped boating throughout the ages.
I'm ready. So many innovations. I'm excited to hear more.
Me too. Now, where were we? Yes, the evolution of boat designs.
Yeah.
Each civilization took what they knew, added their own ingenuity.
And boom!
New types of boats emerged.
It's like a constant evolution.
Exactly, like the Arab dhow ships,
Those ships are so distinctive.
instantly recognizable with their lateen sails.
Those lateen sails were a game changer.
They were.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Tell me more.
Well, unlike the square sails everyone was using back then, lateen sails allowed sailors to actually harness the wind to sail against it.
Wait, so you're saying that before the lateen sail,
Yeah.
boats were basically at the mercy of the wind?
If the wind wasn't blowing in the right direction, you were stuck.
Wow, I never realized.
The lateen sail really opened up new trade routes.
And allowed the Arabs to basically dominate the Indian Ocean for centuries.
Centuries.
It's amazing how one little change can have such a huge impact.
It really is.
Speaking of impact, let's not forget about those behemoths of the sea,
Which ones?
the Chinese treasure ships.
Oh, yes, Admiral Zheng. He's fleet during the Ming Dynasty.
Those things were absolutely colossal.
They dwarfed even the largest European ships at the time.
Some historians think they were over 400 feet long.
Floating cities, carrying hundreds of crew members and tons of exotic goods.
His voyages reached all the way to Africa.
Decades before European explorers even set sail for the New World.
It's incredible.
And the Chinese were already using advanced shipbuilding techniques.
Like what?
Things like watertight compartments.
Really?
Way before they were adopted in Europe.
So the Chinese were way ahead of the game.
In some ways, yes.
But of course, Europe eventually caught up.
Right, with the age of exploration.
Which brought about a whole new era of boat design.
The caravels like the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria.
Columbus's ships.
Smaller and more maneuverable than those massive Chinese ships.
But perfect for those long voyages across the Atlantic.
Their lateen sails helped them navigate the trade winds.
Essential for exploring the Americas.
And as European powers started establishing colonies and trade routes.
See the rise of the galleys.
Larger, more heavily armed.
Capable of carrying huge amounts of cargo.
A symbol of wealth and power.
Armed with cannons and carrying gold and silver from the New World.
They were formidable warships.
Playing a big role in those battles between rival powers.
So we see this constant evolution of boat designs.
Driven by trade, exploration.
And unfortunately, warfare.
But there's a big shift coming.
What kind of shift?
Something that changes everything.
I can't wait to hear.
The introduction of steam power.
Steam power, that's revolutionary.
A true game changer.
It changed maritime history forever.
For centuries, we relied on wind and muscle to propel our boats.
But steam engines changed all that.
Suddenly, we weren't at the mercy of the wind anymore.
Boats could travel faster, farther.
And on more predictable schedules.
What an impact on trade and transportation.
And warfare.
Exactly. Ironclad warships powered by steam.
Like floating fortresses.
What a transformation.
From wooden ships with sails to iron ships with steam engines.
It was a whole new world.
But it wasn't all about practicality.
It wasn't.
The rise of steam power also saw the birth of leisure boating.
Oh, that's interesting.
In the 19th century, we see yachting and pleasure craft emerge.
So boats became a source of recreation.
Exactly. Wealthy folks were commissioning those elaborate steam yachts.
A status symbol.
A whole new way to experience the water.
And this trend continued.
With the development of internal combustion engines.
And motorboats.
Faster, easier to handle.
Didn't need the same skills as sailing.
Making boating accessible to more people.
And then came the outboard motor.
A true revolution in recreational boating.
Portable, affordable.
Letting people explore in new ways.
The outboard motor really democratized boating.
From dugout canoes to steam-powered ships to motorboats.
What a journey.
But there's still more.
More.
Some more recent innovations that shaped the modern boating world.
I'm ready to hear about them.
Let's dive into those next. All right, let's get back to those innovations. We've seen how boats went from simple rafts to those mighty steam-powered ships.
It's incredible to think about.
But the journey isn't over yet. As we moved into the 20th century, one material really shook things up.
What was that?
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass. Doesn't sound as exciting as a steam engine.
Oh, trust me. It was a game changer.
How so?
Well, before fiberglass, boat building was really time-consuming.
And expensive.
Yeah, it relied heavily on wood. But then fiberglass comes along.
Eh.
Goes lightweight, durable, and way cheaper to produce.
So boats could be mass-produced.
Exactly. Making them more accessible to everyday people.
That explains the boom in recreational boating after World War II.
Right. A growing middle class with more leisure time and suddenly...
With affordable boats.
Exactly. Boating went from a luxury for the wealthy to a pastime for millions.
And the innovations kept coming.
They did. We saw advancements in engine technology, navigation systems, safety features, everything.
Making boating safer and more enjoyable.
But with all this progress, we can't forget about one crucial aspect.
What's that?
Sustainability.
Right, the environment.
As we started to understand the impact of human activities, well, the boating industry had to find ways to reduce its footprint.
Eco-friendly designs, alternative fuels.
Responsible boating practices?
We went from bigger is better to realizing we need to coexist with the environment.
Exactly. And we saw boat builders trying new materials like recycled plastics, sustainably harvested wood.
And the development of alternative propulsion systems, electric motors, solar panels.
It's not just about the boats themselves, though, right?
Right.
There's a growing awareness among boaters about responsible practices.
Things like proper waste disposal.
Reducing speed in certain areas.
Avoiding anchoring in seagrass beds.
It's great to see the boating community taking responsibility for protecting the environment they enjoy.
After all, what's the point of a boat if there's no clean water to sail on?
It's amazing to think about how far we've come. From those first steps onto the water with logs and reeds, to harnessing wind and steam, and now embracing sustainability.
It's quite a journey.
It makes you wonder, what's next? What will the boats of tomorrow look like?
With technology moving so fast, it's hard to even imagine.
Boats powered by renewable energy, silently gliding across the waves,
Maybe even autonomous vessels.
guided by AI, charting new courses.
Who knows, maybe even flying boats.
It's exciting and a little daunting to think about.
But that's the beauty of it.
The history of boats is still being written,
Each new chapter, a testament to human ingenuity.
and our connection to the water.
It's been fascinating exploring this history with you.
From humble beginnings to these high-tech marvels, boats have really shaped our world.
And they'll continue to do so for generations to come.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible story of boats. We hope you'll keep exploring this world. Who knows, maybe you'll be part of writing that next chapter.